I start this video with a disclaimer. A lot of people have negative opinions about Common Core. And whenever someone talks about how much they don't like Common Core, I like to talk about how it's a more in-depth understanding of math. Because so many of you, actually you guys raise your hand if you've thought to yourself, when am I going to use this when I'm done with school, with math?
Every day.
Okay? Yeah, every day. The difference between the Common Core standards and the old state standards are, there's more understanding as to how it works and why it works. Because when it comes down to it, no, you're not going to memorize how to do what we're doing today necessarily. You might not ever use this stuff again after you're done with school. The difference is, it is helping your brain understand something, especially mathematical, which uses different parts of your brains, okay, and geometric reasoning. It's having your brain understand something abstract. If your brain can understand something abstract, it can build upon that and you can become more intelligent. Okay? That's the difference of, when am I going to use this? Well, you're accidentally going to use it every single second of every single day with the conceptual knowledge of problem solving, reasoning, okay, visual mapping. Okay, so section 6.3, you all have two different colored stuffs? Okay, now in 6th grade, you guys found out how to multiply fractions. This way, we are going to be looking at it to see what's happening when you multiply fractions. Okay? See what's happening when you multiply fractions. All right? So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to organize this as well as possible. We have 3/5 times 1/4. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to divide the rectangle into fifths. Now, imagine for a moment that these lines aren't here because they won't be here on your homework. And spoiler alert, your homework is this packet that you all have. If things go well, you're probably going to have about 15 minutes to work on this because these notes won't take that long. Maybe even more. So a lot of you, several of you will not have homework tonight, which is nice. So, for the moment, imagine that those lines off to the right here aren't there. So it says here, divide the rectangle into fifths. So we're going to divide the rectangle into fifths. Now, for those of you that don't have very good handwriting, you're always going to want to use your school-issued straight edge, which is your ID hanging from your neck. And I would recommend you do the longest side with the biggest denominator. Because it's saying divide the rectangle into fifths. This is where they're getting that fifths. Okay? So we're going to divide the rectangle into fifths. I'm going to number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll put a line between each one. Line between that one. Line between that one. Line between that one. Even though there's lines already there for you, could you please make that darker in your pencil color? Make those lines darker so you can see that there are fifths there. And then it's asking us to shade in 3 of these fifths. I'm going to shade in 3 of these fifths. That is too small. Come on. Where is my big fat one? There we go. Shading in 3 of those fifths. Do you agree that we just shaded in 3 of those fifths? Good, because you should. We just shaded in 3 of these fifths. We're just getting it. So we just did vertical shading of 3 of those fifths. And I'm going to highlight what we just did in yellow for people watching at home, or in your car, or whatever. Not your car. Please don't watch YouTube and drive. You can listen to my enchanting voice while you drive, if you would like. Next one. Now, We just did the fifths. Do you agree that the fifths are vertical, so they go up and down? Do you agree that that's the angle that these fifths are at? Yeah? Good. Let's ignore those vertical columns for a moment. Let's talk about horizontal thirds. Or sorry, divide the rectangle into fourths. So we're going to divide it into fourths. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do that. And we are going to shade 1/4 of those. So we just broke our box into fourths. I'm going to shade in 1/4 of that. So here's 1/4. And it becomes green because in the color wheel, blue plus yellow equals green. I can make it a better looking yellow though. Where is that? Bright yellow. Is that the bright yellow? Same thing. Maybe not. That's as good as it gets. So we were talking about the rows which go left to right. We broke it into fourths. We shaded in one of those. Now, how many boxes of these, how many boxes are shaded with both colors? Okay, with both colors. Dana?
3.
There are 3 of them. You are correct. They are right here. 1, 2, 3. There are 3. How many boxes are there that we created? How many boxes did we create, Owen?
2. Wait, are you talking about? Oh, like put the colors in?
Nope, it doesn't say colored in. It says how many boxes are all together.
Oh, okay.
20. There are 20. Circle that one. What do you think the answer is to 3/5 times 1/4? What do you think that might be, Jace? 3/20. You are correct, sir. 3/20. 3/20, and we are going to add a little bit to that. 3/20. I'm going to change color so you can know I mean business. This here is the double shaded. So the numerator is the part that's double shaded. The denominator is the total boxes or total sections. This little bit that we just did in purple here, that's going to help you when I send you on your own in number 3. Yep. That's right. I'm going to kick you out the door and say, see ya. I might want to be ya. It'd be nice to be a kid again. I've been there. Good. There you go. All these kids, I didn't hear you, and I'm glad I didn't, because it sounded like I wouldn't like it. All right. Oh, me too? So, any questions on that, ladies and gentlemen? No, okay. Next one, 150. Next one. For the rest of the problems, model the multiplication and write your answers. Now, things that you're always going to want to do is you're always going to want to number your columns and rows. People who were messing up during 4th period were not numbering their columns and rows. And the same situation was happening with 5th period. I didn't let 6th period make that mistake, and you will not make that mistake. So, we have sections are going to be 8 and 5. Okay? Sections are going to be 8 and 5. What are we going to do with 8 and 5. Which one of these is going to go left and right on the bigger side? 8 and 5, which is easier to do? Max? 8. Beautiful. So we're going to do 8 sections. Erase. Erase. Thank you. Erase. Speaking of erasing, I'm just going to get rid of this so you guys can do it below, but I'm doing this so because I need to write bigger than you do, but you guys can do it below. Oh. So we're going to create 8 equal sections. In order to do that, what we're going to have to do is we are going to number first, and then just since it's a multiple of 2, what we're going to do is we're just going to keep cutting it in half. I'm going to use black. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to go half, about half, 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 cut that in half, cut that in half, cut that in half. My numbers are way off. Yeah. Let's try that again. Draw. Where's my black? There's my black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Since we have 7 eighths, I'm going to do that with yellow. I'm only looking at the 7 eighths. How many of these eighths are going to be filled up with my color? 7 of them. Good. Look at how big that's ninths. Okay, that's ninths. You need to make sure, or just make that not anything. Okay, because you have 9 sections that you need only 8. So here's my 7. I'm going to fill up 7 eighths. Everybody fill up 7 eighths. We have 7 eighths. And the next step, just like the one before it, is to split it up into fifths. I'm going to number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to use my school-issued straight edge, a.k.a. my ID, and I'm going to create a horizontal line. Whoop. Here. Whoop. Whoop. So as long as I have the sensor above that magnet, it works. Okay? Then there's situations where some of you have really good handwriting, and you can drop the magnet. Some of you have really good handwriting. You don't need to use that straight edge, but less mistakes will be made if you use a straight edge. So we just made them into fifths. So make your fifths. Make sure you're numbering them. Good. Making our fifths. Then we have to do where is my big blue? Okay, then we have to do 2 of these fifths. We have to do 2 of those fifths. Doesn't want to. I'll just do this. I don't want to do that. 2 of these fifths. Here are the fifths on this side. So I need to color 2 of them. It doesn't matter which 2 I do, just as long as I make sure that I'm doing any of the 2 fifths. Because I did the top 2 for all the other classes, and I'd like to do it, show them a little bit different way of doing the exact same correct answer, I'm just going to do these middle fifths. Here's 1/5. Tiny thing again. Here's the second fifth. So I did 2/5 in blue, 7/8 in yellow. And with the numerator, we have the amount that are filled with both colors. How many are filled with both colors, Mobile? Close. Both colors. 14. There are 14 filled of both colors. Yeah, it's an ugly green. And how many boxes did we create total? How many did we create total, Harrison?
40.
There are 40. And 2 days ago, I wouldn't mark you off if that's what you had, but what was the rule officially with no exceptions as of yesterday on?
Simplify.
We have to simplify. 7 over 20 is your correct answer for 7/8 times 2/5. Or 7/20 is the simplified answer. Okay. Now here's what's going to happen, folks. You're going to look at what you just did. Look what you've done. And you are going to look at what you've done so far, and you are going to have 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Then I'm going to be explaining to YouTube and maybe yourself, you guys, stutter guy, me. In 3 minutes, I'm going to write the answers and start explaining the third one. If you understand what we're doing, you can continue because this is your homework right here. So that means that you have 20 minutes to work on your homework if you'd like to. YouTube, I will be back in 3 minutes. So jump forward 3 minutes and I will be back. And we're back. So I'm going to do number 3. If you think that you know that you've done this correct 100%, you can just verify that it looks like what mine looks like when you're done. But if not, I'm going to start to work on this guy. And yeah. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2/3 and break it up that way. I'm going to go, here's a third, here's a third. I'm going to label it so I don't make any silly mistakes. Then I'm going to shade it in. This is also for your information, people. Please don't talk. If you have questions, it's being answered right here. Dana? Okay. Sydney? If you have questions, it's answering right here. We have 2/3. I'm going to shade in 2/3. 2/3. Next one, I'm going to split it up into 6ths. 6 is going to be 1/3. Cut each of those in half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You may have done it the other direction, which is just fine. You may have done it the other direction, which is just fine, but in the end, we will all have the same thing if you're doing it correct. So this one's going to be blue. 5/6. I'm going to color in 5 of these. Oh, you can't really see that. That's not good. We'll go magenta. So here's. Doesn't have to be pretty. Just as long as you can see it. Okay, I'm going to go. This one's green. So I just colored in 5/6. I have, how many of these here? I have 10 of these squares that are colored in with both colors out of a total of 18. Because I know that I have to simplify. 10/18 simplifies to 5/9 because I divided each of these by 2. So if you did number 3 correct, there should only be one square that doesn't have any color in it. If you did number 3 correct, there should be only one square that doesn't have any color on it. It's a lonely square. And you can continue. That is the conclusion of the notes for today, and my kids have 20 minutes to work on their homework because they are awesome. Backing out to 50%. And here's what we did today. Subscribe and like so you can see all this stuff. Goodbye.